The New York Giants are making a quiet but very important move. They're trusting Brian Callahan to help shape the future of quarterback Jaxson Dart. And some insiders believe this could change everything. Callahan has worked with elite quarterbacks before, including Joe Burrow and even Peyton Manning during a championship run. Now the mission is simple: develop Dart, protect his confidence, sharpen his decision-making. Because the Giants don't just want improvement, they want a franchise superstar. And if Callahan succeeds, New York might finally have its quarterback of the future. The arrival of a new coaching staff always signals a reset. But for the New York Giants, this particular transition carries deeper meaning because it revolves around the most valuable position in modern football. With John Harbaugh stepping in as head coach, the organization has committed to building a structure designed to accelerate quarterback growth rather than simply manage it. And nowhere is that philosophy more visible than in the decision to position Brian Callahan as passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Jaxson Dart. The move is layered with intrigue because Callahan's recent tenure as head coach of the Tennessee Titans ended in disappointment. Yet his reputation as a quarterback developer remains respected across league circles. In many ways, this is the classic NFL paradox, where failure in one role does not erase excellence in another. And the Giants are betting heavily that Callahan's core strength, communication, technical refinement, and relationship building with quarterbacks will translate into tangible progress for a young passer who flashes star traits but still needs structural discipline. The offensive staff composition itself reveals intentional redundancy rather than confusion. With experienced minds like Matt Nagy and Greg Roman also involved, the Giants are creating an environment where multiple perspectives converge on quarterback development, something increasingly common among teams attempting to accelerate young talent curves. Modern quarterback coaching is no longer about one voice delivering instruction. It is about layered messaging that reinforces decision frameworks, situational awareness, and mental processing speed. Callahan's presence becomes critical here because his history suggests he excels at translating complex offensive concepts into digestible cues tailored to individual personality types. Former players often describe him as someone who understands that quarterbacks are not mechanical robots, but emotional decision-makers, whose confidence directly impacts performance velocity. That nuance could prove decisive for Dart, whose aggressive playing style has produced highlight moments but also unnecessary physical risk and questionable choices under pressure. League observers point to Callahan's prior collaboration with elite quarterbacks as evidence of his potential impact. His time working with Peyton Manning during Denver's championship period, culminating in Super Bowl 50, remains a credential that resonates, because Manning represented the pinnacle of pre-snap intelligence and preparation. Exposure to that level of professional detail often shapes coaches permanently, and Callahan has carried those standards into subsequent roles. Later, his involvement in the development arc of Joe Burrow reinforced the perception that he can help translate collegiate talent into NFL-ready command. While it would be unrealistic to claim he alone created those stars, the pattern suggests he understands how to nurture quarterback ownership within an offense, allowing the player to feel empowered while maintaining structured accountability. That balance is exactly what evaluators believe Dart needs most at this stage of his career. From a pure football standpoint, Dart's projection remains fascinating, because his skill set sits at the intersection of improvisational playmaking and traditional pocket passing. He possesses arm talent and competitive toughness that energize teammates, yet he occasionally operates with a college-style urgency that does not always translate against faster NFL defenses. Development, therefore, becomes less about teaching new abilities and more about refining timing, anticipation, and situational restraint. Callahan's coaching philosophy, which emphasizes detailed repetition without authoritarian intensity, could create an ideal learning environment. Instead of overwhelming Dart with criticism, the approach focuses on incremental mastery. Correct footwork on one concept, improved coverage recognition on another, building confidence through competence rather than fear. Quarterbacks historically respond well to that method because it preserves aggression while reducing reckless tendencies. The psychological component cannot be overstated either. Young quarterbacks often struggle not because of physical limitations, but because of information overload combined with external pressure. Playing in New York amplifies every mistake, and expectations escalate quickly when a player shows early flashes of promise. By assigning a dedicated quarterbacks coach with strong interpersonal skills, the Giants are essentially installing a buffer between Dart and the chaos of the market. Callahan becomes translator, mentor, strategist, and emotional stabilizer. Former general managers and analysts frequently note that successful quarterback development environments share one common trait: consistent messaging. If Dart hears the same corrective points, the same encouragement cues, and the same strategic reasoning repeatedly from a trusted coach, his learning curve could accelerate significantly compared to a fragmented coaching structure. From a roster-building perspective, the implications extend beyond one player. If Dart develops into a reliable starter on a rookie contract timeline, the Giants gain enormous financial flexibility to strengthen other positions. Modern NFL team construction increasingly revolves around maximizing the competitive window created by a productive young quarterback before major salary extensions arrive. That strategic reality means Callahan's success would ripple across the entire organization, influencing free agency priorities, draft strategies, and long-term cap planning. Conversely, if development stalls, the franchise could face another cycle of quarterback uncertainty that delays contention. The stakes are therefore organizational, not merely positional. Fan perception adds another layer of drama. Giants supporters have experienced years of offensive inconsistency, creating both skepticism and hope regarding any quarterback-focused initiative. Dart's charisma and visible competitiveness already generate excitement, but fans also crave evidence of disciplined progress. Fewer turnovers, smarter situational decisions, and sustained drives against strong defenses. If early signs of improvement appear under Callahan's guidance, public confidence could surge rapidly, creating a positive feedback loop that benefits player morale. Quarterbacks often perform better when they sense belief from both coaches and fans. And New York crowds, while demanding, can become intensely supportive when they perceive authentic growth. Looking ahead, realistic projections suggest Dart's development will not be linear. There will likely be stretches of impressive performances, followed by regression as defenses adjust and learning continues. The key measure of Callahan's influence will be how quickly Dart corrects mistakes and whether his decision-making stabilizes over time. Improvement in third down efficiency, red zone execution, and turnover avoidance will serve as objective indicators of coaching impact. If those metrics trend upward, the narrative around both player and coach could shift dramatically, reframing Callahan not as a former head coach who struggled, but as a specialist who helped unlock a franchise quarterback. And ultimately, the Giants' investment in Brian Callahan represents belief in process over perception. Coaching reputations in the NFL are rarely linear. Many respected coordinators and position coaches have endured unsuccessful head coaching stints before returning to roles that maximize their strengths. For the Giants, the calculation is straightforward. If Callahan can channel Jaxson Dart's talent into disciplined excellence, the franchise gains stability at the most important position in sports. And in a league defined by quarterback play, that possibility alone makes this partnership one of the most consequential storylines to watch in the coming seasons.